I believe we are live on mine also. Yes, we are.
Huzzah, we did a
Hi.
thing.
Yay.
Good
How are you,
job.
sir?
I'm doing good. All things considered, there's things going on in the world that I guess we don't really need to get into, but
Nope.
that aside, I'm doing pretty well. I've had a pretty good week, so
Nice. Nice.
that was helped by the fact that my week did start by my supermarket exchanging the light beer I ordered for a 9% Imperial IPA.
That'll do it.
So
That'll do it.
it'll definitely do it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so this is our typical Thursday streaming.
It is.
Paul, what is our goal for today?
What is our goal for today? Well, that is a good question. If you remember what we did last week, which I'm sure everyone was riveted and watching and is back again, we were working on some Ansible stuff. And I was kind of wanting to show you what it looked like when you had like I'm still trying to remember what the correct term is, but when you have like your roles and your playbooks and stuff all formatted in this particular way, I'm not sharing my screen to you, so you're not seeing.
You're not. We're just doing the preamble, because it turns out.
I was just gonna bring it up during the preamble, so as I sort of talk through it makes sense. And it is showing on my stream, but I forgot that I have to hit the share button for you. So give me 1 second and I'll do that. Otherwise, I'll never remember to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to do that guy right there. Share. All right. I think.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh, I think I blew up my stream.
What?
Oh.
It's okay. Keep working on it.
I'll keep working. Well, why don't you take over some preamble while I fix my screen up?
Sure. So we have a goal of eventually. Oh, so let me take a step back. And I realized my video is all jacked up. Let me fix that too. But Paul and I do open source work, and we have realized as we've been working on these different different projects that this goal is to be able to create a container registry for us. We're going to be using something called Harbor, and we're going to have Ansible to idempotently deploy Harbor with all the bells and whistles on top of it, so we can have just one playbook to do it. As we started talking about it more and more, we realized that we could take it actually one step farther, where we start adding portions to this registry. If you don't know, a container registry is a place that you take some type of application containerized by the OCI spec, and you push it into a registry so other things can pull it down. So when we get this Harbor, which is the VMware open source registry, which is a CNCF project, if you didn't know, as soon as we get this up and working with Ansible, then that opens up a whole world of us being able to inject other containers inside of it and then have everything locally. So you can actually have a way so you can build your infrastructure, like for instance, not specific, but just pulling something out of the back of my head here, something like Mattermost or something, or Rocket Chat. So you could actually have it inside your registry, so you can spin up the instances of Mattermost or Rocket Chat, so you can actually have a Slack-like experience on the clusters that you're working on. Is that a reasonable thing to say?
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is, this is quite timely, given there's been a lot of news in the tech world lately around Docker and the Docker Hub, and then them starting to apply limits, like rate limits and things like that, onto the Docker Hub. One of the things that Harbor does really well is it can act as a Docker Hub cache. So you can set it up so that you pull images from it, and if it doesn't have them, it will go and fetch them from Docker Hub. But then once it has them, then obviously you don't have to keep going back to Docker Hub.
Mm-hmm.
So that will help you with the rate limiting that they might perform on your incoming IP addresses or accounts. It also means if you're at home and you have limited or capped bandwidth, or even some places you actually get charged for your transfers on your home internet. If you run Harbor as a cache like this, you can also save on how much traffic you're pulling down from the internet.
Which is a huge problem in non-Western based countries. And this is a really, really valuable thing to have, which is nice.
I wouldn't even say non-Western based. It's pretty common in Australia to have metered internet.
Australia is really far east, man. What are you talking about?
Wow, all right. So there's a couple of the reasons we were wanting to get here. We got a fair way last week. So we got it installed and running in a kind cluster.
Mm-hmm.
But then we had to make some changes to make it work on an actual cloud around storage. And so that's where I think we're going to pick up, and we're going to continue on with it. So first of all, here is our site.yaml, which kind of defines what we're going to run in our Ansible playbook. And you see we have a collection of roles. The important one is the Harbor role, right? But Harbor, generally speaking, you need certificates and trusted certificates.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to use Cert Manager and external DNS so that we get a host name and we get trusted certificates to wrap around our Harbor. And then, of course, we need ingress so that we have a way for people to get into and access Harbor. So that's why there's those extra roles in there.
Real quick, just to make sure it's very clear, because we're choosing to use Ansible, it will start at the top and go through every single step. And it's not like Terraform that does everything parallelly. It does it serially, which is what we want to do.
Exactly. So it's more orchestration. Now, obviously, you can, in say Terraform, you can set dependencies so that it will run some things before others. But with Ansible, it's implied that the playbook is going to run in the order in which you write the tasks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot more like it's implicit it's imperative how you write it, like or thinking about it from an ordered perspective, but it is kind of declarative how it actually runs it, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like you're defining declarative things, but in an imperative way, I think is what I'm saying. But I always get those terms mixed up, so I don't even know why I brought them up.
Okay.
But that's why we're streaming.
We have fun when we do it, right?
So let's dig into where we're at. So we've got this now in our environment file. We have our default, which sets stuff up for kind, and then we started creating the IBM Cloud one. Mm-hmm. And you can see in here where we actually have an ingress, and we already know what our ingress is going to be. So we can kind of precede our fully qualified domain name, but that ingress also gives us DNS and a certificate, right? So the cloud gives us those things. So we can set these other roles to be disabled. And so these are variables that are in our roles that our site.yaml looks at, and it will skip them because we've got them set to false. Right?
And do you mind splitting the window and just showing the site.yaml one more time to show that Boolean? Because if you didn't catch it the first time, it's worth revisiting to say that you can flip it back and forth.
Let me do that.
There it is. When. It's the when line.
Right, the when line, that's right. And now you can see I've got a default here. And I have that default there because unless you've explicitly set it in your inventory, it doesn't actually read the variables for a role until it's processing it. And so this is looking for a role variables before it's processed the role, right? And therefore I set defaults to what my role default is, and we're all good. And this isn't something you have to do a lot of, but it's just one thing you do here. Well, I usually do here just to make sure you don't get any errors like, oh, couldn't find the variable and have your playbook crash.
Got it.
So for most variables, you don't need to do that. But for some, it's like a handy little hack to work around things like this.
Nice.
So we started building out a was it storage role?
Yes.
And here is what we're at. So we're like set up IBM Cloud Storage, include task main.yaml when cloud provider equals IBM Cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to take a stab in the dark and suggest there may be other things apart from storage in which we need to check if we might need to set specific for a different cloud, right? Because unfortunately, like Kubernetes is pretty good at not being cloud specific, but abstractions almost always leak. And so there's always little things that you'll run across, regardless of what cloud you're on. You need to sort of work your way through. And so we've set this when cloud provider equals IBM Cloud. So what we'll do here, and here is another place we might want to do defaults.
We want to do the kind, don't we? The kind cluster by default.
Well, I feel like we can just leave it blank. Like,
because
if
this is only
it's not
for
specified, then there's no like custom stuff that needs to be done, right? And so that's just setting some insurance there. The other thing we could be doing is we could actually in here there's a down here in the root directory there is a main vars, and we could be doing that there. And if we do that, then up here we would do vars from file vars main.yaml, something like that. But we won't actually do that for reals. A, because I don't remember the syntax off the top of my head, but also because we don't have a ton of variables. So there's no need to get too carried away. But if we find ourselves putting too many of those weird default things in there, that's a sign that we do need a playbook level variables. So we can set some of these things regardless of the roles. So I will actually leave this here in the vars, but I'm not actually going to load this vars file.
Yeah, and nothing interpolates it, right? So it'll just sit there. Right. It's just sit there.
Yeah. So now we have our, let me get rid of this extra window. We don't need to be split anymore. So now we have our storage role, and we're checking for cloud provider. And if it's set to IBM Cloud, which maybe we should just say IBM, right?
Okay. Well, the storage problem exists only on the IBM Cloud. There is an opportunity to have there are other IBM offerings that you could, in theory, run this on.
All right. So IBM Cloud as the product.
Yeah, the public cloud, yes.
Yeah, gotcha. All right. So let's, in that case, we'll leave that.
That's also me being an IBMer, right?
Right. Well, that's why I asked, because I wasn't sure. So now we're going to include task IBM Cloud. And then in this task, we had already gotten started. So we already knew so we created a template. So JJ ran a couple of commands to do this in the cluster. And so we're working back from those commands. And one of those commands was a Helm command. So we ran that Helm command and just told it to create a template, and that rolls out here. So we now have this right here. And this is our, basically what Helm rendered out, hence it has these like sources and stuff. Now, do we have...
I need to actually verify that the machine's still up. I just realized I didn't look at that. Let me, you keep going. Let me do some stuff in the background.
Yeah, you make sure our cluster's still up. Good idea.
I was like, I don't remember checking this.
Right?
My bad.
No worries. And so that gets us most of the way there, but we also had to run a couple of commands. So we'll pop back to one of the problems with Ansible is every other file is called main.yaml. And so you've got all these files open across your taskbar at the top, and they all just say main.yaml. So I get lost pretty easily. So let's just close all of these down, open up just the role for storage, and we're looking at just the IBM Cloud.yaml. So this is the one we're needing to finish off. So we have 2 kubectl patches, and then a kubectl get just to make sure that it looks right. So I guess what we want to do is figure out how we do a kubectl patch in Ansible. So let's see if we just do Google for Ansible kubectl patch, we'll see what comes up. So it looks like the Kate's object, which is kind of the one we're already using, might be the one to use. Someone on Stack Overflow is talking about it. And then let's have a look at our docs here. Oh, no, this is the deprecated one. It's telling us to use Kate's raw.
That's
doesn't
weird.
sound right.
So I on our shared box, I got the cluster kube config pointing to a machine. Unfortunately,
right, cool. Are you in the tmux?
Oh, I'm not actually in the tmux, but yeah, you're supposed to do k get nodes now. What?
Please enter username. What? Oh, is that because I started the tmux before you?
Yeah, just Control D out of this. Control D. And then tmux. Oh no, you got nope. Control D.
Oh my goodness.
Playing with Jenkins X, huh?
So
here. Let me do it.
All right, you do it. I just want to do an A. I don't want to do all the hard work.
Yeah, right. Do space -T Ansible. What? Sorry, hang on. Why is this not working? Give me 2 seconds.
All right, I'll let you work on that, and I'm going to keep looking at our docs here. So this is telling us just to use the Kate's. Okay, so we have a merge type, JSON merge and strategic merge. So that might mean, and what's the default? The default is, oh, I love it. It's claiming it requires OpenShift. I don't think that is actually the case. I think that's probably just because it's. I think these tasks originally came from Red Hat, so there's probably some OpenShift language still in here. But there's our docs to use a JSON merge patch to update our deployment. All right, so I think the default of strategic merge is okay. So we can go ahead and actually have a look at what, oh, wrong button. So I think what we want to do is turn these into manifests, or maybe we can just use it as the string. What does that doc say? Where's our Kate's?
It's not a clean cluster, but it's the only Kubernetes cluster I have on this machine right now.
All right, we'll see how we go.
Yep.
So here it looks we can do something from an
that is very small
definition.
That text is very, very small.
Enhance. Do. How's that?
Much better.
All right. Anyway, I'm just stealing this block of text. And of course, it's going to mess with my indents. So here you can see they are doing state present, and then they're just dumping in a definition. So this is doing a kubectl patch storage class IBM block. So we can do kind storage class, and is storage class part of the V1 API?
Yes.
Okay. Explain storage class. Well, that's a lot of stuff. No, the API is storage.k8s.io/v1.
Really?
So this is one of the useful things about K-explain is you can look at the kind and version you need to use. So we have that. So we can set that in there. And then we know our metadata. We know our name is IBM Block Gold. Storage classes are not namespaced. But we have some annotations. Right. So we're setting this annotation like so. Storage class.
So let's take a moment while you're doing this and talk about. So for me, maybe because I come from the infrastructure side and I'm used to infrastructure as code, reading this YAML file that you're putting together feels like it's a little bit more human readable to me compared to a generic manifest that you would probably want to do and run this.
Right.
Now, do you feel the same way, or do you feel like reading manifests is like you can still comment in manifests and things like that, right? Like, do you feel like the added overhead of using something? I mean, obviously we're doing this, so we've chosen the path. But play devil's advocate for me.
Yes and no, because the reality is, oh look, here's my YAML, right?
Yeah.
So the YAML still exists, and you still have to write the YAML. You're not getting away from that. And if what you're doing is pretty simple and doesn't require orchestration, then I would say Ansible might be a bit too much.
Okay.
If you do need to do some templating, if it's some basic templating, you probably want to look at like Customize or Helm if you still don't need the orchestration. But the moment you need the orchestration, I think it's a good idea to start looking at Ansible.
Okay.
Now, there's probably no reason we couldn't do this with a sufficiently complicated bash script, but then you're dealing with sufficiently complicated bash scripts, right? Whereas Ansible is specifically built for orchestrating tasks.
Yeah.
It has these modules that take away a lot of the complexity of those tasks, because most of the time that you run a kubectl command, there's like a bunch of stuff that are like you almost always want to be the same. So you only need to change a couple of parameters to do the thing you want, unless you have to get very customized. Yep. And so basically, I feel like it's abstracting away the need to do a complex bash script by only making you tweak the things that are really important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't forget, like, you didn't actually explicitly say it, so I'll say it for the recording and or people watching. I mean, Kubernetes is designed to be idempotent. You should be able to run the same manifest over and over again, and only things change if something happens. And the advantage of using the wrapper, if you will, of Kubernetes here for Ansible, you have two levels of idempotency, right? Where you really do, like, you let Ansible do its work to CZ's point of orchestration, and then the manifest behind it to be even more enforced as idempotency. And yeah, no, it's true. Like, I just wanted to have that quick conversation, because it feels like every time I look at this stuff and the more code that I'm seeing on your screen, like, okay, fine, I see this day in and day out, this is easy to read. But if you're spending so much time learning how to write a manifest, putting another layer on top of it, there's going to be that argument over and over again. And it's really nice to have that kind of, for lack of a better term, packaged up, so you can have do you see where I'm going with this, or no?
Yeah, I see where you're going with that. But again, like, it only makes sense if you have the need for that extra layer of abstraction. Like if
Yes.
all you're doing is applying a couple of manifests and maybe just changing the namespace, I would say use customize.
Yeah.
If all you're doing is like wanting to share your manifest with a little bit of templating, I would say, okay, maybe look at Helm. But then when it comes to doing something like this, which is really taking a bunch of different applications and orchestrating the install of them to Kubernetes, Ansible is great because like Kubernetes, very few things in Kubernetes has any concept of doing things in order, right?
Yes.
Kubernetes works on the fact that like, just blast everything at me, I'll tell it to all start, and it will eventually figure itself out.
I'll keep
And
pinging this API endpoint until it finally says 200.
Right. And that works great if you're writing your software and tools to behave exactly how Kubernetes wants it to behave. Yep. But let's face it, a lot of these things aren't. And so, you know, sometimes we need to reach for something that actually provides us that.
Awesome.
So I think this is what we want to have. So let's just do a, I guess, did you create a tmux?
I did. And it works.
Okay. So let's do a get storage class. And we're looking for who our default is. Actually, that's just going to shrink it down a little bit.
It's not bad.
Where do we see what the default is?
It should be right there on.
It's in the name. So you can see IBM C Block Gold is currently set to default. And what is it that we want set to default?
I think that's right.
We want IBM Block Gold to be default. And we think IBM File Bronze is the default to default. But what we could actually do here is, I won't actually do it, but I'll give you a rough idea, is Kate's info. And then we're looking for kind storage class. And then basically, I won't write it out because I need to think about it too much and take too much time. But basically, if you wanted to, you could loop over all the storage classes and notice anything that has this annotation and save that off to a list, and then go through and process those and remove the default unless they are IBM Block Gold. And that way, you don't have to make an assumption over what's already set to be true, default.
Okay.
But for now, we'll just work on the assumption that IBM Block Gold is default. And the other thing I've done wrong here is I'm setting Block Gold as default before I'm removing default from IBM File Bronze. And that might be weird because we'd end up with two defaults.
Yeah, I might get angry for you for that.
So let's go ahead and move that to the top. Oh my God. I need to find that setting. Something about VS Code is insisting on getting my tabbing wrong when I paste.
Yeah, the 4 spaces, not the 2.
Yeah. No, it's the 2 spaces is fine. It's just assuming that everything should be lined up with under this T. If I paste under it, it's not realizing that I'm trying to go back.
Yeah, I haven't actually mastered the keystrokes in VS Code yet.
Yeah.
I know one day I will, just not today.
I'm the same way. All right, so I think this is going to do what we want. So we can go ahead and run it.
All right.
And so let me think. Ansible playbook.
Oh, we're gonna have to change that host.
Well, first of all, we need to be in the correct directory.
Q in your logic.
Stream.
That one.
Ansible. Yep. And then we want to be in activate. And then wasn't there a, oh no, I think we set that in the config.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's just do, oh
There's
wait, didn't we
Python
try
3
and
thing.
simplify this with a make?
That feels right,
and
actually.
do make test.cluster. Okay, and that's failing because we're looking at the wrong.
Yep.
Yep.
And then look,
so
it's
what's
Python
the
3 again. It's Python 3 again. Good.
Yeah. What's the cluster name? The context.
KS.SCAR Labs. Do what is it? NS.
CTX. Oh.
There you go.
So that one that we were running on disappeared? No,
Yeah,
Twitch stream.
No, it's gone. It looks like it got reaped. I put the wrong tag on it. So.
Oh goodness.
It's fine.
Yeah. So this, no, but it's not though, because this already has external DNS and cert manager and other stuff in there.
They have the namespace. I don't think anything's actually running. Oh, my bad. I thought there was nothing running on this box.
Right. I mean, I guess I can just delete namespaces.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So delete namespace. I'm gonna get rid of cert manager.
For anyone watching, this is how you nuke a Kubernetes cluster from orbit.
External DNS. Oh. What else is in here that we might need to get rid of?
Stack edit, Minio.
Well, we don't care so much about those because we're not going to be fighting with those.
Oh, what about that secret infra?
Again, we're not going to fight that. I only care about stuff that's going to be where I want to put things.
Okay.
I think.
We'll find out.
And then we also need to get the ingress host name.
Oh, yeah. Cluster get. There you go.
Uh-oh.
That's appdomain.cloud.
Oh, we can probably get away with just this bit here and reuse whatever we have.
Yeah.
So
I'll kill that.
Back to our.
There you go. Yep. There you go.
All right. We'll leave that TLS issuer there until we have it up. In fact, we don't need that. So let me comment that out. Cloud provider, IBM Cloud, we already set that. kubectl context. Did we just set that?
We have it set. We did not put it in that file, no.
All right. So this guy here. Right. I think if we now run my make test cluster.
No whammies, no. Oh.
Invalid kubeconfig file.
What?
Oh, never mind. I need to set inventory. So let's just do Ansible playbook /I environment IBM.
Do we need to check that hosts file?
Hmm?
Do we need to check that hosts file?
No, that host file is really simple.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's because it's talking to the, I'm with you now. I'm with you now.
Yeah. What am I missing? I need to specify site.yaml. The playbook, yeah, so site.yaml. All right.
Yay.
Aha. So here is where we'll need to do some more trickery.
Well, no, we have the harbor.yaml. Why did we not, right?
Yeah, because it's, I think we're trying to find the certificate and we don't have one. So we just need to look at where we're looking at that.
Hence the none.certificate.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, I really do like your debug message there with the role of Harbor to tell you where it is inside of it. I realize how simple that is, and I realize that you can have that at the task layer too to tell you exactly what's going on. But that is a very nice visual, like this is where we are. I've actually stolen it for a couple of my playbooks.
Nice. Oh, you just got some spam. Oh, I got some spam. Hold on, I need to deal with that. Ban.
Oh, guess what I had today happen as a nice aside about a spam. Somebody was brilliant enough to put one of the IBM mailing lists I'm on a major mailing list for Red Hat. And somebody accidentally sent a message to it and it kicked back all the auto replies in the email. And then we got all the auto replies of people saying, please take me off this list. We had a reply storm. It was,
love it.
I was like, oh man, I haven't seen one of these in years.
Right?
We're back to the MS Exchange days of please stop sending emails. We have too many emails going through the system. Oh, so good. So
right.
Good.
So what was that error again? For none.certificate by kind name. What? Well, let's look for this. Okay, nothing much going on there. TLS. So this will be something we need to set. I wonder though, maybe we should just roll forward with cert manager. That error doesn't seem to line up with what I'm expecting. So ensure Harbor is deployed. Item. None.certificate. Templates Harbor. I don't know where it's finding that. Let's have a look at this guy. So remember we have our staging directory. Oh, well, that's why. Weird. Okay, so I'm gonna RM.
Hold on. I didn't see it. Well, why is why?
So for some reason, it's still trying to call for a certificate. And for some reason, we lost the API version.
Oh.
So I'm just going to clear out that temp directory.
Oh, back to the creating the YAML files, the advantage of having them there, so you can validate, which is what we just did. So then we can apply it against them. Really is a good, it is a really good feedback loop. It really is. It's like you've done this before.
Oh, I see what we've done. Okay, I was reading this wrong. So if ingress is disabled, we need to create a certificate. Is that true? I guess it is. Secret name. So we have two secrets it's expecting, right? Mm-hmm. One for notary and one for core. Now, we already have an ingress certificate, an ingress secret, and that will be in default get secrets. And where is it? No. This guy right here, or is this no? Where does it store the default ingress secret?
In default, I thought. No, IBM system. Because remember we tried to create that operator that would copy it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. But it's an opaque secret, as we discovered, so it's even pointless to do that too. You can just reference it. Oh. Right? That's not right.
No, that's not it.
Try Cube System. What? It's right there. Right there. A rendered job controller. 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth line. That right there. That's the secret.
No.
Mm-hmm. Very confident in that. Because if you do the get cluster command again.
Hang on. Oh, how did I end up with?
Oh, it's Vim bindings. You're doing it's the Vim bindings. Here, hang on. Let me do it.
Yeah, and why is there Vim bindings in the shell?
Because I set it up so because it's good to use Vim bindings.
Oh, except for when you're trying to type an A and it gives you an 8 instead. I don't think that's it, dude.
That looks like a secret to me. Kind secret.
That's a secret, but it's where's the? It should be tls.key and
tls.key right there, right there. What? Or can you not see it? Hang on. There's key.
I saw it briefly and then it disappeared.
Yeah, my screen's much bigger than yours.
Okay.
Hang on. How about I do grep tls? There you go. God damn it. Hang on. There you go. TLS key. There it is. Ah!
All right. So I thought, so we might have an issue here because ingress controllers like secrets to be, like TLS secrets to be TLS. So I'm starting to think that we should create certs anyway, which I think is okay.
Okay.
I think it will deal with that.
I am not 100% confident in why this is not what you're looking for. but I trust that you have the understanding of why this secret will not work.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't made the logical jumps yet to understand why, but I'll
So in
watch.
my experience, if you try and use a opaque secret for an ingress TLS, a lot of the ingress providers won't support it. They expect the certificate type to be of TLS.
Oh, okay.
Because Kube actually has a secret type that's specific for TLS secrets.
Could it be my version of Kubernetes? Am I just running an older version?
I don't know.
Okay.
So
it's fine. Keep going. Keep going. It's fine.
If we go ahead and finish this off, wait, is there an ingress? And so we're still doing the cluster issuer there. So I think we can get rid of this whole section here. I don't think we need it. And if we come back up to our IBM Cloud and we set cert manager to true,
Mm-hmm.
And then turn TLS issuer back on, and then rerun our Ansible playbook. Okay, what have we done now? Cert is undefined.
Wait, no, that's not right.
Well, hang on. Let's just have a look at what our defaults are in here. UDN, TLS issuer. All right. So that error was in. Oh.
There's your alt tab again.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cluster issuers, cert is undefined. So let's look at cluster issuers. No point are we looking for?
So if you're watching live right now, if you have any questions or thoughts of what we're doing, please don't hesitate to put that in the chat so we can talk.
Right.
We're just hacking away, or I should say, Paul's hacking away, and I'm asking the questions because I'm trying to learn this stuff. I really, really, truly am. Do you want to show this also? Where are you? I'll throw this in the chat also, but Paul introduced me to that link. If you want to bring that up real quick. Which was a really, 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 really good example of a very basic multi portion playbook, right?
Yeah.
So this was really valuable for me to finally get my head wrapped around some stuff that I just hadn't been able to make the leap to. Haven't actually fully embraced it yet, but at least now I have a template to work off of. And there you go, chat. Click on that link.
Well, what is Ansible doing to us?
It hates us.
I don't understand. Like, we're not trying to find a variable called cert.
You want to do an AG again to look for cert across the board?
Yeah.
Pretty sure I have AG installed.
But that's going to find a lot of stuff we
Son of a
don't.
God damn it.
But also, like, AG is two pretty common letters. Sorry, not AG. Cert is like
Cert, yeah,
it's going to show up all the time because it's Cert Manager.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So we're getting our Cert Manager namespace. Well, first of all, let's make sure we have some defaults. Now, do you know what the ingress class you'd usually use? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go
Nginx, I'm pretty sure. And I think that's what I mean. What you mean by class?
I'm going to go ahead and enable ingress and cert manager, and then in cert manager cluster issuers. Let's see what's going on. So we're just creating cert manager namespace. CA issuer, cert manager, let's encrypt email address. Do we have that in? In our defaults, let's encrypt email address. We have that. I mean, it's just my random one, but it's fine. All right. Well, maybe I have some weird independency with the ingress and cert manager. So if I just make sure they're both enabled and try again. Okay, so cert manager runs before external TNS anyway. There is no variable cert. I don't understand. And it's saying it's with the cluster issuers YAML.j2.
Isn't there a -- debug or something like that we can actually see the command?
We can do like -vb and
maybe get a little bit more.
Good idea, yeah.
Because if we can't find it, it's got to be somewhere. There we go. Undefined.
Cert is undefined. So let's pop back through. All right, so cert manager tasks main. It's pretty simple. We're saying, here's our namespace, and here's two templates. And those two templates are certmanager.yaml and clusterissuers.yaml. Clusterissuers.yaml is using the cert manager ingress class, using cert manager namespace. At no point is it using cert. Right? What about, okay, every occurrence of the word cert. So these aren't variables, not variables, not variable, like.
That is really surprising. It's coming from somewhere.
Right?
And it's.
Oh my goodness. There it is. There it is.
The dash.
Dash, not underscore. This one right here. Manager. And right here.
I think you just showed the perils of computer programming right there.
Right? I absolutely did. And so what we can do then is come back to our IBM Cloud. We can set this one back to be false. And then under here, we can do, was it ingress class Nginx.
Yep.
Right. And so now we can rerun that. Get rid of the V's unless we need them again.
This is feeling better.
So that's a good thing to remember is even though dash is okay to use in a YAML key, when that YAML key is an Ansible variable, it's a bad thing.
Yep. They like that snake case. Oh.
Right?
500 error.
Okay, so I think this is the
yeah,
issue
run
we
it
saw
again.
the other day, remember?
Yep, just run it again.
We actually, yeah, so.
It's the race condition.
Yeah.
Though we could put a check in for Ansible to check that instead of just bombing out. We can do that wait for 200 or whatever.
I think we even talked about that.
Yes, we did.
We talked about that, and we should do cert manager. We should wait until it's fully up, and then.
So that's a real problem.
Error.
Yeah.
So that's good. A new error is better than the same error.
Oh, and this is Harbor too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, and we're at the top of our.
Oh,
scroll.
That's brutal.
That is brutal. I should have teed it so we see it happen as well as go to the file.
It's fine. Just bring it up in VS Code. Just read it there.
Well, I sent it to temp. That's T, and then this should be ./temp. Right. So that's running through.
I wish there was a way to use T to give you the colors too.
Right. All right. So that is writing in there fine.
No, it's not live. I thought VS Code did that live.
Maybe because I'm also doing it through the SSH.
Oh yeah.
Driver. All right. So that fails. So we'll come back to VS Code, and we will come back to temp. Show me the error. Unknown tag and if. Okay. Is that just me being dumb when I deleted that?
You probably just missed something. Yeah.
Oops. Yeah. So we did pull out. Where was it? Not in Cert Manager, but in Harbor templates. Yeah. Okay. I pulled out that if statement and accidentally left that in there.
So disappointing.
Actually, that T temp broken is probably not a bad thing to keep doing. So
yeah, you're right, because it'll override each time too.
Yeah.
Nope, things are happening.
Oh, that looks better. All right, so let's change our namespace to Harbor.
We won't be able to hear it, but if people are applauding right now for us.
As they should.
Yep. I really need to figure out how to pipe that back into Zoom.
There is our ingress.
We need the console though first, don't we? Isn't there a console list to like get into Harbor?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Nothing's ready yet.
No, because it'll take a while to get the database in Redis up.
Yeah.
And most things rely on that. Well, you can see the registry itself is already up. Are we getting our secrets?
Yep.
Harbor TLS and Notary TLS? Yes. So we have our certificates, and they are both ready. Now they are, I believe we asked for self-signed certs. So let's have a look back at our inventory. Yeah, TLS issuer, CA issuer. So when we know this works, we can switch that TLS issuer to be Let's Encrypt, and we should then get actual real certs.
Do you want to put a little note in that to say test with CA issuer first, when good, change to Let's Encrypt or whatever? Because that feels like something that if we revisited this, I would not know off the top of my head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
For that matter, all the README should have more of those, like what all the little fiddly bits you need to do.
Yep, right? Absolutely. So this should be like a, I guess, like a quick start. And then somewhere in here, we should say, so we've created under the deploy, modify inventory, ensure CA issuer is until happy, use Let's Encrypt so that you don't on failed deploy mistakes. Right, and then that is TLS issuer. So we actually need to come back and fill in some of these docs, but we can do that later. So, okay, get pods. All right, so we're still waiting on our, oh.
Is our box storage again?
Oh, no, we're good. Now, you know what's funny? We didn't actually run.
We shouldn't need to. It was already set.
I know, but we should still have it there so that if it's not already set, it does get set right. So role storage. And then we should also do this. And storage is enabled and cloud provider not equals. Right? Because if there's not a cloud provider set, we shouldn't even try and run storage.
Correct.
Because it ain't going to do anything.
Yep. Well, it'll just send a bunch of annotations to something you can't do anything to.
Right.
I mean, I guess it wouldn't actually hurt, but it's just wasted cycles.
Right. So PVCs are there. That's good. Oh, Postgres is running. Redis is running. Harbor is running.
Restarts, though.
Yeah, those are restarts while like Harbor Core is erroring out and restarting, waiting for the database to be up. Right. Which is fine. The main thing is we've got like 1 of 1, 2 of 2, 1 of 1. So now if we go back to our get ingress and we grab this URL here, we can hopefully log into it.
That's looking good.
So it's not secure. Did we not do HTTPS? And that's fine, right? Because that's our we want to proceed to it anyway. And then we can do admin. And
you see it kicked you back over to
Harbor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Did I see that right? Hang on. That's not secure. That's not HTTPS anymore. See that?
Yeah, because the certificate's invalid.
Oh, you don't have the little padlock on there. It threw me off. With the padlock with a line through it. Oh, that's the hell is that web browser?
Brave.
Brave, yeah, that's right. All the cool kids use that one now.
Right? Well, I'm trying to be a cool kid. So what did we set our admin password to? I don't think we've overridden that. So I think it's admin password.
Well, that's a password to remember. Oh, it's probably base 64.
Base 64, yeah. Exactly. So echo space echo base 64 decode.
It's even worse.
Right?
Hey!
Right nice. Now, that's something we should think about is if we do this, harbor.admin password.
Can you base 64 encode
64
on the fly?
Encode.
Oh,
we can. I think it might, maybe it's B64 enc. Ansible base 64 encode. It's an Ansible filter.
Did not know that.
B64 encode and decode. Yeah.
It's like they thought of this.
It's like they thought of this. So that's setting that. And so now if we come back to our defaults.
That's not our TOS.
Oops. Good call. Let's actually move it right up here.
I'm paying attention. I'm seeing things.
Yeah, you are. 1, 2, 3. So the default Harbor password, if you just install it as is Harbor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's just roll with that for now. The next time we deploy it, that should be our password. So we'll verify that next deployment. But one thing I'll show you real quick is we can hit this button here. And that is going to give me the CA cert that the registry was signed with, right? So if I just save that like that.
I've really got to write that blog post.
If I want to now, I could use this, I could add this to my trust, and then this would be trusted. And then I could also stick it in Etsy Docker certs.t hostname /ca.cert. And that would tell Docker to trust this host because it's signed by that cert.
Really?
Yep. Yep. That's a way you can tell Docker that you trust a particular self-signed cert for a particular registry. But ultimately what we want is we want a real certificate. So what that means is we want to come back to here and we want to undeploy our thing. So what we could do is this.
Destroy the Kubernetes cluster.
Right? So this is something I've done before is like clean.yaml. And then you kind of look at like, so for Harbor, pretty much all I need to do is delete the namespace, right? And everything in it should be deleted.
That doesn't always work though, does it?
It does, absolutely.
I swear somebody told me that doesn't always work.
Well, it works
I guess there's no
for any resources that are in the namespace.
Yeah, like there's like the namespace goes, that's the root thing of all the resources. So of course, I swear somebody told me it didn't work. Oh well, whatever.
This is harbor.namespace state. And really that's all we would need to do. But what I want to do, rather than actually doing that, is I'm going to use those files we created in temp, because I feel like we want to just delete everything in there. Oh yeah, that's right. This is where we had that issue before where we might end up deleting the CIDs before we delete the resources, which is why we're getting these errors, which aren't a problem. So you'll see Harbor is active. It should be saying terminating. You've had Jitsi terminating for 127 days, sir.
Yeah, it's in the final. It's because there was some the hell is that word? PVCs attached to it, and it would never get to the finalizer. And I just never ran the finalizer command to get rid of it.
Right.
I just don't care.
There's no resources found in the namespace. Didn't delete the Harbor namespace. I wonder why not. Oh, I know why. Because we're actually doing that as its own thing. It's not part of the YAML that we created. But that's okay. So now we can go back to our Ansible and go back to our inventory and change this to be let's encrypt. Just let's encrypt, or is it let's encrypt prod? Where's our cluster issuers? Just let's encrypt. And we'll get staging as well. But we'll go for proper let's encrypt. We'll go all out.
Sounds good to me.
So paste that in there, and then we rerun our Ansible playbook.
Hopefully it's not broken.
Apparently it is.
Oh.
But we didn't change that. Oh, yeah, we did. We added it. All right, so I guess we have to debug that. Roles, storage. And what was the actual error? Set up IBM Cloud storage.
Line 4.
Include task, has extra params, which one is that in? Oh, yeah, okay. So I think I always do this. Come back.
Is it import tasks?
Well, so it's actually both. But I think for import task, I think we might need to do that.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, import task and import role aren't exactly the same. Oh boy.
Found both
group and make it worse?
For the same. No, that's a warning.
Well, that's a warning, but here's the error. Set up IBM Cloud Storage. All right, let's pop back up to here. All right, Ansible docs. Ansible import. What? That's what I had. Oh, really? Really? really. It's just I need import tasks versus import task.
Oh, computers, don't you suck so much? There. Oh, no. That got really angry now.
Oh, that's okay. That's moving on to the error watch storage is undefined. Ensure role. So now we want to come back to here. So that's because in my common role to apply tasks, I'm assuming that there is a namespace to create. Right?
Can we override the namespace? Or maybe see if it's been deleted? Can we force it to delete the namespace?
Here we're doing, well, no, it's just we don't need one. So here we're doing import tasks.
But in the normal use case of this thing, if you weren't developing on it, you'd be creating it, like you would need to create it. Like there's not going to be a time that you're not going to need it. Well, actually, hold on.
Yeah, there's nothing namespaced in this task because it's just modifying storage classes.
Yeah, and then also like we tell you to use the CA issuer first, verify stuff, then run it again. So you're going to have to go through that again anyway. So yeah, you're going to need a way to delete the namespace and recreate. Okay.
No, I don't want to delete it and recreate it. I just don't want a namespace for this particular task.
Okay.
So I bet you I can do that. Right? So I set it to null here. And in here, I can say when,
Ansible OS version Red Hat
not equals null.
I'm just trying to throw you off a little bit there.
Right. Namespace is defined. Oh, come on. Is defined. And namespace right? So if namespace isn't defined, or if it's null, it should skip that line. All right. That did not work. Oh boy. All right. Well, you know what? If it's going to create an empty namespace, that's fine. I'm not going to get fussy about that. So let's go ahead and pull that back out. Oh, and in fact, that's going to, if I don't specify a namespace, it'll use that. So if I come back to roles, storage, defaults, let's just do storage space. Let's keep it simple. I'm not going to fight with it. So that's calling this. That's calling this. So let's just do space. Rerun it, and it should be fine. I'm losing JJ.
Sorry.
He's getting distracted.
But boss is pinging me. Give me 2 seconds, just finishing it off. I realized you were doing something and I didn't want to mess with it. So
no worries. All right. Could not find or access templates. Oh, did I get the template name wrong? IBM Cloud, YAML. Oh, yeah, that's an easy one.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No worries. I just got hit by my inconsistent ability to, no?
Dashes and underscores again.
No, this was YAML versus YUML.
Oh, YAML. Yeah. Yeah. Do you standardize on the 4 or 3 letters?
I usually use 4, but Ansible tends to use 3. And so I'll sometimes accidentally just follow kind of the files that are already there rather than my own standard.
I really should
But it's
like
still
pay
not-
attention to what I do, but I don't. Like I go back and
Oh,
forth.
come on. It is an underscore thing as well.
Nice. I am very good about putting J2 at the beginning or at the end of my Jenga 2 templates, because that is how I tell myself this is not an actual file. This is there's templatized stuff in it. Oh,
all right. This is failed to patch object is invalid.
Field is immutable. That's not good.
Yeah, okay. So I think
Something wrong with the patch?
yeah, let's have a look at the patch. So this is where it had some different merge options.
I don't even know what this means.
It's just how Ansible works with Kubernetes to perform a merge on the kube objects.
By default, it's strategic. So if you didn't declare it,
well,
sorry.
See, that's the thing. Its default isn't necessarily. See, it has this stuff about requires OpenShift, which I don't think is accurate. But you can see it has different defaults based on the version of OpenShift.
That's a really, really old version of OpenShift.
Right. So I was just gonna set merge type to be
I'm with you.
strategic merge. Try it. If it doesn't work, change it to merge, and we'll just see what works. Merge type. And it may just, you know what we could do? You know what might make more sense?
What's that?
If we do a kget storage class, and then is it IBM Cloud block storage? No. What's the name? IBM file. Bronze. -o YAML. Oh. Under temp. You didn't create it. Refresh. There it is. So metadata, labels. Right, and then what else was in there? Where's our annotations? So what we're doing there is, I think it was trying to pull the label out. And so I'm just putting the label into the.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And that's false. This is true. So let's uncomment that.
Mm. Not seeing.
Oh, this is the
invalid. It's doing the immutable thing again.
Yeah, and this is the actual IBM Cloud. So I think we need to verify this on a cluster that hasn't already had it done.
Okay, we'll just skip it for now.
Because we might be fighting the fact that it's already been done. So let's do that. Let's skip it for now.
Whatever.
And then we'll at some point need to rerun this with a cluster that's on, and then we might need to add more logic to what we're doing. But let's not fight it too much right now. Hey, how long would it take you to spin up a new cluster?
Time. But I'll start one in the background. See if we.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
And if anything, we'll have it for next time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see where you're going, CZ. I see what you're doing. Honestly, I should have done it an hour ago, but I just.
Yeah. And in fact, do you want to get it? Can you give us 2 clusters?
I could do 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
By the way, if you're watching this, I can get you free clusters too. All you gotta do is ask. Hey, there you go.
This guy, am I right? So while you're doing that, I'm going to have an attempt at fixing our cert manager race condition, because that's starting to get on my nerves. So I think we can do. So that doesn't belong there. That belongs up here. And then we come back to cert manager, tasks, main. And then we do. Okay.
We're going to eventually actually put real stuff on these things, all right? We're not just going to have just Harbor.
Well, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we can trash them at the end of this stream.
Okay.
Like, there's no reason to have them. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about doing all this Ansible work, is we can spin them up and down.
That's right. I'm with you.
All right, so that is in theory Harbor deploying. So get pods. So that's our stuff slowly coming up. Get ingress. So there's our ingress endpoints. And it's got HTTP solvers running now because we've asked for a cert manager. So these 2 ingresses are created by cert manager. So if we look at our certificates, We've got 2 certs that are already up.
Nice.
And those should be cert manager signed, Let's Encrypt signed. So when we actually have our pods up, which will take a moment longer, we should be good. We'll watch kubectl get pods. So core is up, which means the rest of them should be coming up pretty soon. But with core up, we should be able to access the website. And so if we come back to Harbor here, I think it'll be the same URL. Refresh. What? Stop that. New private window.
Wait, whatchamacallit has built-in Tor? Brave has built-in Tor?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Interesting. Did I not do the certificate right? Right, so that's certificate, and there's a certificate request.
CRS does not contain short name fit. What the hell does that mean?
Oh, goodness.
Cert manager not creating correct CSRs now?
Well, this is it talking to Let's Encrypt.
Do we need a
I wonder if our no, I wonder if our domain is just too long.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. It shouldn't be. But this I've never seen this error before.
Yeah, hang on. Max length URL let's.
Well, why don't you just, rather than that, why don't you search for the error it gave us rather than
63 character max.
Yeah, we would be under that, wouldn't we? Let's have a look. Okay, get ingress. Notary. Echo that to WC. Is that a problem? 104 characters?
According to this, this link, I mean, this is the first one that popped up. Give me a second.
No, don't forget, I can't actually see what you're doing. Oh, there we go. Right, but I think that's for that's not for a FQDN, right? That's for the domain name. I assume. Why do you want to open it up in a browser that doesn't exist? Come on.
That's a fun URL, though. Certificate common name max length, 64 characters. So yeah, 104 won't work.
Right. Let's Google this exact error in case we just put ourselves in a red herring. CN can have max 64 characters. May add a second shorter domain with that domain as first domain, so let's use the CN. Well, isn't that just fantastic? So we can't use the existing DNS. So what we can do is
external DNS, enable that.
So let's, no, we'll cheat a little bit because then we'd have to configure it to register domains for one of our accounts and go down another rabbit hole. So we can do this. Just delete all of that and come back to our text editor and where we're setting up our thing here, we will just do zip.io, right? Because that's your ingress IP address, .zip.io.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And that should give us what we need. Delete NS harbor.
Good old zip.io to the rescue again.
So this might be where actually finishing off that clean might be a good idea. Where do we start working on that? First of all, common tasks main. Where are we creating a namespace here? Oh, interesting. That might be a better way to do cleaning, but let's not worry too much about that right now. That's what I'm looking for there. Harbor tasks clean. Absent. This is Harvard namespace. This is Harvard namespace. Back down to our text. So that's deleted. So let's rerun our Ansible playbook. So this should use the zip IP address, which should give us a short enough name to use as the CN. I guess the other thing is there's probably a way in Cert Manager to specify a CN.
Is there?
I would bet there is.
Nothing's jumping out. I'm thinking about it.
Specify CN. Damn it, I didn't fix this. Sure. So let's do get pods NS ingress cert manager. Okay. So this webhook is what we're looking for. So get deployment cert manager webhook. So what we want to do is in cert manager tasks, run this once for each of these. And here, I want to do a webhook is running. Kate's info resource is that's something like that. So let's pop back to here. Kate's info, Ansible, and Kate's info. Let's find some examples. API version, kind, name, namespace, register. So let's grab those three things. Pop back to here.
Cert manager namespace. Yep.
Yeah. And we're looking for a deployment. And namespace is, as you said, cert manager namespace. And then we'll call that webhook. And then how do we do a loop until? It's been a while since I've done that. Let's bring this up. Maybe they'll have an example.
They've got to be. There's got to be.
Yeah.
That's something Ansible has really nice. It's the examples.
Okay, namespace, wait, sleep, wait, timeout. So we want wait, yes. Maybe we don't need the register then. It's all at the same level. So it'll check every 10 seconds. I feel like we can get a check every 20 seconds and give it a maximum of like
I do 5 minutes.
3 minutes. No, I don't want to wait that long. Like if it's not ready in 3 minutes, there's something wrong.
Yeah, maybe.
I think.
Yeah, you're probably right. Well, it could be just a really slow internet connection.
K delete dash F. Delete all that again. Even though there's going to be errors. rm-f temp star. Yes, I really mean it. Rerun our Ansible playbook. So there's Cert Manager. Now it's doing our wait. And then we're doing, nope.
Nope, something broke.
Didn't like the wait.
Did not. Is it wait sweep you need?
No, I mean, I pasted directly from the docs.
Bring it back up. Maybe you need to push it over a little bit.
Push it over a little bit?
No, I guess you're under info. Oh, it's community. Community.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Oh, okay.
So apart from Kate's info, oh, it's not read. I thought I killed that. My bad.
Just thinking about it.
No. What is wrong with me? So kind name namespace. Kind name namespace. Wait sleep. Wait timeout. Which of those is not valid? So this is showing me the valid ones. Let's see which one is in the wrong place. Order parameters include. So kind is in there. Name is in there. Namespace.
Wait's not valid.
Wait's not valid? Is it?
According to that?
Are we reading docs
Because
for a different version?
Yeah, because it's the community.kubernetes. This is just
it's the same thing. It's just
that
that obviously, yeah, that's right. It's probably a newer version that the docs are going for. So what we can do is, like, I think we can still kind of make this work. So we basically want to loop until we get the output we want. So we do want to do register webhook. And then let's do Ansible. Ansible wait for until something like that. New. Is it, am I confusing myself? Is it just until?
Mm-hmm.
This is what I want. Okay, and then what we want to do is look at kget deployment-o YAML. And we want to look for ready status dot ready replicas. Webhook status dot ready replicas greater than 1. It's greater than 0. But I think it's resources. Something like that. So we might need to do a --v.
Okay.
Oops.
Just thinking about it.
Oh
Cool.
boy. That's going to be way too big.
Mm-hmm. Put that back out to broken.
Broken. Oh, no, that's bad syntax. The object you get back from the Kate's info is a bit verbose.
Yeah, so let's use that word.
Temp broken. Show cert manager exists, ensure it's deployed. So it's result, results, and then O. So let's double click that so we don't lose it. Results, result. And then we want the first result, which is this. And then what's the key we're looking for? Status.
So we've got a handful of people watching us right now. I'd just like to say, if you are watching us and have any questions or thoughts, please don't hesitate to put them in our chat, or at least my chat, and then I can respond. If you're watching on Paul's, you're gonna have to catch his eye. We're going through some. We've actually gotten real close to getting the Harbor build that we set out to get working on Kubernetes using Ansible as our orchestrator. Pretty close to being done. We're feeling good. I really, it's all just normal debugging right now. But if you have any questions or thoughts, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to have a conversation with y'all. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Something here is very wrong.
Okay.
So I'm looking for deployment, cert manager webhook, and we're registering it as webhook.
And we just lost 3 people watching after that speech. Damn.
Good job. So what's the deal with this broken? Ensure cert manager is deployed, which is, wait, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for make sure cert manager webhook is running. Make sure. Oh, well, good on you. It's not even giving it to us. All right. Well, I think if we do the results, we might get it. We're getting close to time to wrap up, so this better.
Yep.
This better work. Result has no. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. In here, I'm going to do register, and then we're going to debug message webhook verbosity 0. Comment that out. And so now instead of that, it should do that, and then we can do this failed when true. Helps if you indent properly. Let's rerun.
Maybe. Ah.
What? What do you mean that?
Failed when?
What is wrong with me? This is totally okay.
You need true in quotes.
No. Failed when? Register failed when? Ah.
YAML strikes again.
Yeah, but I can get rid of that verbosity now. That'll just dump it. Just what I need. I hope.
Mm-hmm. Now, what do you want to call this?
I want to get, if this run doesn't work, I want to flip to just deploying the rest anyway and making sure we get a certificate.
Okay.
Oh, that worked. Okay. So let's look at a broken file. This is what we want. All right. So at the top of this, so we have webhook, and then we are looking for resources. I knew it. Okay, so we're just going from webhook straight to resources, and we're looking for the first resource because there's only one. So that should be pretty easy. Whoops. So we're looking for webhook, results, resources, status. I think maybe they should be back at the debug level. Oh, no, these should be up here.
Yeah, shit.
Language.
When we're off stream, I'll tell you what happened.
Right. I think the thing I dislike most about this kind of work is just dealing with the weird edge casey stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I made it work. Huzzah.
Okay.
All right, so that's deploying. So now let me just pop back into here, clean out this debug. We don't need it anymore. So yeah, that now is going to wait until the deployment has at least one ready replica.
Nice.
Right? And when that has, we know that it's going to probably respond to a webhook.
Mm-hmm.
So now we can do pods, get ns harbor, get secrets.
It's looking good.
TLS, get certificate. It's claiming they're ready. Get ingress. Get, let's grab that URL while we're thinking about it. Get pods. Core is not quite up yet. So as soon as core comes up, we should be able to access that URL. And that URL will be now, let's pop back to here, be that somewhat shorter URL. HTTPS. All right, we're secure.
It's interesting it didn't kick over to HTTPS initially, though.
So that'll be because we might need to set an annotation. So by default, it won't redirect to HTTPS. But there's a Kubernetes annotation you can set to tell the ingress to just redirect 80 to 443.
I didn't know.
Yeah. So either that's not set or
It's not up yet. Go back.
Yeah, it is.
Core isn't up.
Oh. No, it's not up. It's nearly up, I guess. Failed to connect to the database. Oh, yeah, okay. The database is still pending. Oh, our PVCs are pending.
Ah, boo.
Huzzah. But like, I think we're in the right spot because we got that certificate. While that's running, let me show you in the templates for our ingress for Harbor. Let's find ingress. Yeah, so this here is what tells the ingress controller to do the redirect. And since it's not doing that redirect, I would suggest that maybe.
Sorry, I thought it was I read the Nginx one, and I thought it said false, but no, it says true.
Yeah, no, they're both true. So that is this is me hedging my bets, right? Because being able to give it as a Kubernetes annotation is fairly new, whereas being able to give it as an Nginx annotation has been around for quite some time. So if I give it as both, one of them should work. Unfortunately, I would guess that the ingress controller we're using doesn't support either of them. And I actually have a feeling we've hit this before.
Yes, we have. This seems very, very familiar.
Yeah. And I don't remember if we ever figured out the right annotations.
I don't think we did. It's the standard Nginx ingress controller. I know that, but we have like some weirdness in front of it or something.
Right, but we also don't know what version it is. It might be a fairly old version. But this would be good product feedback if you knew someone to give product feedback to.
Where's Kitch when I need him?
Right. All right, but I want to wrap up real soon. So let's. We're stuck at our PVCs.
Yeah.
So I think for the sake of time, we should wrap things up. I really wanted to show the proxying, but with these PVCs stuck in pending, could be 5 or 10 minutes before they show up. We might have hit some sort of rate limit or something else that's going on. But we did solve. So let's actually do this. K-delete -F -N cert manager. Oop. Namespace cert manager. So I'm going to delete cert manager and then rerun the playbook and double check we got that ordering right for the. Oh, I wonder if it's not going to delete because there are CRDs. Yeah, so maybe just K delete -F temp. Delete, huh?
There we go.
looks like cert manager is gone. So let's rerun Ansible. I just want to see that we fix that race condition in cert manager. So that's something to think about anytime you're deploying resources that have CRDs or webhooks, is actually waiting for them to be fully up before you try and utilize those CRDs or webhooks. And so that's kind of where Kubernetes thing about,
So you're telling me I should write a bash script that curls my webhook and waits for 200? Is that what you're telling me?
I mean, that is actually something I've seen people do.
Really? Ugh.
Yeah, you do that as like an init container for the thing that's relying on it.
Okay.
But it's not great.
No, it's not.
Okay, so here we go. So when we first create the cert manager webhook deployment, this object status doesn't even have ready replicas. So
we need to go to wait on like status of being existing, then do that.
Exactly. And that's actually pretty easy. So let's come back to our cert manager tasks. So we can do until, and then we can do, find. Actually, probably the neater way would be to do it like this.
Okay. So by default, a list is and.
Yeah, when you're doing like a when.
Okay. I didn't know that. That actually, out of everything we've gone through, that was probably one of the most valuable things I've gotten right now.
Right.
Because that is really like using that Boolean logic to be able to check for stuff in the states that we're doing is very, very valuable. Especially with
and so
orchestration.
So you can do an and on the same line, but you end up with like a super long line.
Yeah, it's annoying to read.
You could also do, while we're waiting for that to run, we could also have done this.
Is not undefined? Or would you want to do the negative for that? I don't know.
And so we could have done it like this and done 2 lines. And the and basically tells that it's wrapping.
Yeah, I don't like that.
That's pretty gross. So what I like to do is if I'm doing more than one, I like to use list annotations. Now, if we were doing an or, we would actually write it like this. Oops. Just to be a little bit more confusing, if I was writing an or, because obviously a list is an and, I would do this.
Really?
Right?
Ugh.
Well, bear with me. It's because it looks like flow-wise, like looking at it with your eyeballs, it looks roughly the same.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just helps your eyes sort of not catch and fail as you on like something being discordant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess.
Otherwise, we'd have until that, but now this looks discordant, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm with you now.
Yeah. I mean, it's not ideal, but it works. Dude, that worked.
Sweet.
So if we look at our output, good old broken. Insert. Right. Ensure cert manager deployed. Oh, we need to clean. Wait. Oh, we're up here. Yeah. Oh, right. Because we're doing the 2 things separately. Yeah. So you can see that it looped through twice before it worked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then moved on to the next. So that's it. of course, we're still not going to have our PBCs ready. If I can even spell PBCs. Yeah, still sitting on pending, 11 minutes. So let's wrap it up. You should delete all those kube clusters and start again. Declare Kubernetes bankruptcy.
Well, actually, I think I'm going to delete this one, but I do have 3 other ones spun up for us.
Well, which we didn't end up getting to use, but that's okay. So at some point we should circle back and maybe off stream get that storage stuff working.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's wrap it up. Any last words?
No, I'm pretty good.
Words.
You want to stop sharing screen?
Yeah, sure. Let me do that. Dear Internet, please stop sharing my screen.
Awesome. Well, Paul, I guess we'll be continuing on next week.
Yeah, we will.
Okay. Hopefully people will learn something.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Okay. Bye.